Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there is no shame in his game because he is always the same.
That's me.
For those of you who are new, welcome to the podcast. This is a twice-a-week sports podcast that happens every single Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're new, welcome to the show. We invite you to stick around a while. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, and follow on Twitter. And for those of you returning listeners, remember, always leaving a thumbs up always helps the algorithm, from what I understand. But Grump, let's see here. Quite a few big developments in the world of sports this week. Some kind of scary and some, as well, end of era-esque. I guess we could talk first about tonight, right? We are recording this live on Thursday evening. Coach K, this is right. This Coach K's last home game at Cameron Indoor Stadium, going to be against the Carolina Tar Heels, and this is Coach K's last home game. Grump.
Yeah, without a doubt, end of an era for certain. I know they still have the ACC tournament and then the NCAA tournament. But this will be the last home game in Mike Krzyzewski's illustrious career. I mean, just incredible.
Now, just take a look at gander of this. Look at what the average ticket price sold for if you wanted to purchase a ticket to go to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Holy crap. On average, ticket price was $5,307.
What was the highest one? I mean, it's not a huge,
right? 10K.
I mean, it's not a huge building, but it's going to be special. I'm going to tell you what, I'm definitely going to DVR that without a doubt. I don't know what they're going to do. You know, they're going to have some type of special ceremony for him, and deservedly so. The greatest coach in college basketball history, probably.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean,
John Wooden was also fantastic, but a totally different era. There's been a lot of great head coaches in college.
Roy
basketball.
Williams is a really good coach too.
Okay, he's not in the same breath. Just not. Sorry.
I'm just saying there's a lot of really good coaches, and he's one of those. You talk about right during the Roy Williams era and the Mike Krzyzewski era. I think they kind of go hand in hand. Maybe that's because one coach for Chapel Hill, one coach for Duke. But
okay. Again, you're showing the fact that you're 14 years old because the big rivalry when Coach K was there was with Dean Smith at North Carolina. Roy Williams was an assistant under Dean Smith, then left and coached 15 years at Kansas before coming back to North Carolina.
And then he coached for 17 years at North Carolina. Okay, I get it, Grumpy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
he's been there a hell of a long time too.
All I'm saying is that Roy Williams against Coach K was not the height of the rivalry. It was Dean Smith and Coach K.
I'm saying both of those coaches were part of an era in college basketball, right? I put them in the Boeheim era. I put them like certain coaches, right, that are towards the tail. Why are you shaking?
Because you don't know what you're talking about as usual.
Oh my gosh, Grump.
Coach K has the most wins in NCAA history, period. Roy Williams isn't even close to that. Not even close.
What's wrong with me saying that if we're talking about eras, Jim Boeheim, Mike Krzyzewski, Roy Williams are all the same era of coaching that have been very successful. I'm not saying who's the most successful coach. I'm saying that all three of those coaches, and there's other ones too I'm leaving off, but those coaches have all been very successful at their craft.
No one's won like Coach K and done it the right way.
I'm not saying that.
Never had a sniff of impropriety at his program, unlike all those other guys you talked about. Okay? That makes a difference. It does.
Okay. I am not saying who is better. Why
are you bringing up Roy Williams? He was like flop sweat compared to Coach K. Flop sweat.
Oh my God! So we obviously know where you lie between Roy Williams and Mike Krzyzewski. It's pretty obvious there.
He's nowhere near the coach.
They're part of an era. And
Leonard Hamilton. How about the Leonard Hamilton era at Florida State? Should we say that? Leonard Hamilton, man, he was really good too.
Grumpy, you know what it's like?
Mike Bray at
When
Notre
we talk
Dame.
about the ending of an era when it comes to quarterbacks, right? Let's just switch this to NFL. It would be like if I threw in the names of Philip Rivers, or I threw in the names, I threw in Philip Rivers' name, and he's going to be up there with your Drew Breeses, right? He was an era with Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Oh, how dare I put Philip Rivers in the same breath as those fantastic quarterbacks?
Okay. He's not in the same breadth as those other three quarterbacks. He's just not.
They were part of an era. Holy shit, Grump. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Tom Brady is the same as Philip Rivers. I'm saying they're all part of the same era of really good quarterbacks. And we're talking about really good basketball coaches. Coach K, Roy Williams, Jim Boeheim. Those are really good coaches. And it's like the sun is setting on them.
I don't know. Coaches are a little bit different. Bill Self, John Calipari, right? You could Rick Pitino, all those guys. You could throw all of them in there, right? There's only see, and then you do the same thing. Bill Self and John Calipari are way more successful than Boeheim or Williams overall.
Okay. All I'm going to say here is this, right? Anytime you've got coaches with close to 1,000 wins, they've been really good at the craft.
There's only one guy who's been to 1,000 wins. Only one. Only one.
Jim Boeheim has 997 career wins.
Who does?
Jim Boeheim has 997 career wins. But don't let that get. Don't let that get.
How many does Coach K have? How many does Coach K have?
I can pull it up, Grump. All I'm saying is they're all part of the same era. Holy shit! Really, we're gonna fight on that.
But I just want to say you brought up Tom Brady, and I'm glad because
Jesus Christ!
I have a story that's going to make you chuckle. As we all know, I need you to make sure you're looking at the screen now. Don't be looking away like you tend to do.
I should say 1,123 wins.
So in other words, Boeheim's going to have to coach another 5 years.
1,196 wins. I'm not saying he's ever going to catch him. I'm just saying anytime you have a freaking coach with close to 1,000 wins and have been extremely successful as a coach, they're one of the cornerstones of coaches during that time frame. And guess what? Coach
Bobby Knight, you throw Bobby Knight in there too, right? He was during that era too.
Bobby Knight freaking retired when? In 2004, 2005?
Well, he coached during the same era as Coach K. Like I said, when you start in 72 or 73, 74, whatever year, I don't know what year he started. 1980, I think 1982 is when he started. You're talking about 40 years, right? So everyone within a 40-year span, you can include in that era, right? But I digress.
Grumpy,
Tom Brady.
We don't need to hear about Tom.
That's okay. No, you need to hear this because I guarantee it's going to make you laugh. Again, every day there's somebody asked Tom Brady a question, what his future holds, and he still has never said he's retired. And yesterday or today, he was in a pro-am golf tournament and says, can we ask what you're thinking about doing? He's like, well, when I made that announcement, didn't say retired, I want to spend more time with family, and it's been like 5 weeks, and, I spend 5 weeks with them. And I know there's going to be more of those times going forward, but you never know what the future is going to hold. So you know what it tells me? He's already sick of the family after 5 weeks. 5 weeks is way too much time with those screaming kids and that obnoxious wife of his. Go, Tom. Play football again. And then we got our idiot pal Arians saying, we're not trading him. That's bad for business. You know what else is bad for business, Bruce Arians? Not letting Tom Brady run the show, which cost you a Super Bowl this year, you buffoon.
Why don't you just stop talking about Tom Brady?
I can't help it. He's in the news every day. He's in the news every day.
He's in your news sphere every day. That's for certain. Because I think what you do every single freaking morning, Grump, is you wake up and you Google search and you sort by most recent upload and you say Tom Brady. Every single morning, you wake up, roll out of bed, Tom Brady. Taking your morning piss, Tom Brady.
You put on
Tom Brady.
You put on Sports Center. You put on NFL Network. It's Tom Brady all the time, every time.
Okay.
He's guaranteed he's coming back.
You're watching.
My boy's coming back. My boy's coming back.
Yeah. Don't get your hopes up, buddy. Don't get your hopes up. But Coach K, the ending of an era, I tell you, I still cannot get over how expensive those tickets were. The cheapest ticket was over $3,000. So I would say, right, you're probably ranging anywhere between $3,000 to $10,000 for tickets, depending on where you're sitting. It's just nuts.
Here's the thing. I have the best seat in the house. It's free. It's right here on this couch. I got a great view of the game. I'm going to see everything that happens. Going to see who's going to come out. I have to think they maybe going to bring some of the players back, don't you?
Okay, well, maybe I think I got this. They invited every single player that had been a part of a Duke or that had that Coach K has coached at one point in time and the other. It's 208 different players were invited to the game. And again, so I'll pop that up on screen. Since taking over in 1980, Mike Krzyzewski coached 208 different players. All of them have been invited to attend Coach K's final home game at Cameron Indoor Stadium on Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be something special, and I hope they trounce North Carolina. I mean, isn't that the way you want to go out, though? I mean, it's senior night. How many guys get to be seniors nowadays? But it's always nice for them. Used to have more meaning previously. But I mean, that's the only way for him to go out is to beat North Carolina, isn't it?
It's a primetime game too, 6 p.m. this Saturday, Grump. It's going to be good. I wonder what the viewership on that game is going to be. It would have been nice if it was both Roy Williams and Mike Krzyzewski's last season. I think that would make it even more, a little bit.
Roy Williams been retired. He's already retired.
I know.
Because he sucked at the end, and North Carolina sucked at the end.
Oh, man.
Again, Roy Williams. What's your love affair with this Roy Williams character?
I don't have a love affair with Roy Williams, Grump. All I'm saying is it would just have been nice to see them both battling it out for the Grump, he retired last year, right? And 2021 was his last. He had coached all the way through 2021. Last year was his last year, Grump. I'm just saying it would have been cool if they both had retired the same year. They retired 1 year apart. Could you imagine how much items would have been escalated more if it was Roy Williams and Coach K's last game, and they're gonna last regular season game, and they're gonna be facing off at Cameron Indoor Stadium? That would have been extra special. I'm just saying you might have seen those ticket prices been a little higher.
Well, no, they wouldn't have been, because Roy Williams is not a draw. And number two, the way Roy Williams was coaching that team the last few years, it was like he was already retired anyway.
There it is. An unapologetic Duke fan. Fantastic, Grumpy. Fantastic. Drew L saying Chris Olave just tied the third fastest 40-time record in NFL Combine history. Yep, the NFL Combine. We'll be talking about that today. Alexander says, hey, guys, good evening. Hope you guys are doing great, doing well. And hope I'm doing well there, Alexander. Hope you are too. And I hope you both are having a great day. Stay blessed. I'm thankful for all the entertainment you guys have been good. You guys have been you guys have been doing. God has blessed two wonderful human beings. Thanks, Sarah, Alexander. We do appreciate
Alexander. That. Alexander's moving to Texas, I heard.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I heard he's moving to Texas.
Why is that?
Why not? Probably got a good job over there. Smart guy.
What are you talking about?
He on a podcast earlier in the week. At the end of the comments, I think we were signing off. I think he said he was moving to Texas.
Okay, Grump. I have no idea. Alexander says Coach K is one of the kind of greatest coaches of all time.
One of a kind.
Okay, Grump. Gotcha.
My gosh, are the small words even getting you now?
No, Grumpy. When I'm reading, I try to jump ahead. I don't see the comment. It messes up how I read. I don't know. I'm a weird reader. What can I say? And also cooking some chicken Alfredo. Who doesn't love some chicken Alfredo? There was a rumor that he was buying the Dolphins, but they denied it, talking about Tom Brady.
The rumor was that Ross wanted to bring in Brady and Sean Payton for next year, and that Brady would get some portion of the team as well. But after the Brian Flores fiasco, all those plans got scuttled.
I don't doubt it. Warzone.
Could you see Alexander getting a number 12 jersey? I don't think Bob Greasy's number was retired, was it?
I couldn't tell you. Warzone saying here, UFC is the only alpha sport league left. Yeah, I tell you. There is no, when you're in the octagon like that, there's no escape.
Welcome to the octagon, son.
Yeah. Drew L says, TJ and Roy Williams, what a cute couple. Am I invited to the wedding? Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it crazy how Grumpy, because he hates another guy? I could just say,
I don't hate him. I just don't think
what he's done. I respect what both of those coaches have done, but Grump cannot see that.
Okay. Coach K is retiring. I mean, I just think it's different with players or a series of players because their careers are finite, where coaches coach 30, 40 years. So it doesn't have the same feel to it. Not for me, it doesn't.
Okay, when Jim Boeheim's 77 years old, I
He's
believe.
still coaching.
Okay, he's 77. How long do you think Jim's going to continue to coach?
I don't know.
Roy Williams retired last year. Mike Krzyzewski retired this year. How much longer at 77 do you think Jim Boeheim's going to continue to coach? I'm just saying you're losing cornerstones of very, very successful franchises over the past, 2, 3, 4 decades.
I like it how you call these colleges, these
Franchise.
bastions of higher learning as franchises. I find
That's
it
what they are.
entertaining.
That's what they
I
are.
know it is. I know it is.
Sent you a video of the Wheel of Fortune. That'll make you guys laugh your ass off. We'll take a look at it. And you got to prove for a house there. He's moved to Texas. His wife is taking over the family business.
There you go.
And he says number 12 is retired.
Well, it would have to be unretired.
No, they're saying he is retired. He's not going to come out of retirement, Grump. That's what he's saying with that comment.
No, the number 12 is retired. For Bob Greasy. That's what I think he was saying.
Okay, gotcha. And then Drell said, by the way, last time I checked, it's 2-2 Islanders game, and Dobson is basically becoming John Carlson for us.
He's looked really good. The young guys have looked good today. Palmieri scored a goal today, but Bellows and Wallstrom are looking really good. They have the sidecar on their line, but still they've looked well. They've looked really good tonight.
And so you're talking about the end of that era. And again, it was a very, very successful campaign that Coach K had at Duke, no doubt about it. And even before then, very successful college basketball coach. Now you look at, there's another ending of an era.
And he also hit one other thing. Here's another thing you forgot. He resurrected the United States Olympic team, the national team. We had a series of bad results, and Coach K came in and resurrected that, where we're dominant again.
Okay, thank you for that portion. Okay, Grumpy. He's not, when it goes down in the record books, right? That's a little blurb of what they say. Hey, he did go ahead and lead. He did go ahead and win a few Olympic golds, and he helped out the team get back on the right track. But
I think it's more than a blurb. I mean, people forget. Okay, here's the thing, TJ. You don't remember
how many times did Mike Krzyzewski coach the Olympic team?
I think
how many times? Okay, 3 times. Okay,
that's 12 years.
In his career span, they're going to talk about Duke, not the 3 times that he coached an Olympic team.
See, I think you're mistaken, because you have to look at the whole thing in totality. I mean, I think his record was something like 73-1.
If you have a little 10-minute snippet on it, Grumpy, if you're covering maybe an hour and a half on Coach K, sure, that comes up. If you're doing a little 10-minute snippet, probably not.
Okay, but see, you don't remember the U.S. was totally dominant in basketball. Then after the Dream Team, everyone kind of caught up, and we were losing with regularity in these tournaments. That's when Jerry Colangelo asked Mike Krzyzewski to come in and rescue the program, and he did. I mean, I don't think you can minimize that. I really don't. You just dismiss it because it's not like it within the last 10 minutes for you as a millennial or whatever you guys are called.
Oh, sure it is. Sure it is. What I'm saying is Coach K is not known for what he did with USA basketball team. I'm not saying I'm trying to diminish what he's done. It was 3 different campaigns, Grump. Okay? 3 Olympic campaigns. But he's known for what he did at Duke basketball. That when you think of Coach K, you don't think of Coach K, the USA basketball coach. You think of Coach K, the Duke head basketball coach. That's what you think of. But I don't understand why why we're having an argument.
Well, it's still part of the resume. You just dismiss it like it doesn't exist.
No, it's just like when you talk about Tom Brady and every little nuance. Oh, I heard he was thinking about buying the Dolphins, and you go through every little bit of it. Anybody you like, Grumpy, just never stop with them.
Somebody asks a question, I give an answer.
No. You were not letting us finish. Move on to Roman Abramovich, which we're moving on to another topic, Grumpy. We're talking about end of eras, Grump. Now, this one is an odd one, right? Because we have to keep on schedule here, Grump, because this is going to be a much more broad conversation. I'm sure of it. So he's essentially been forced into selling Chelsea Football Club. He's a Russian oligarch. He's a billionaire. He's owned the club for, almost 2 decades, been very successful for Chelsea Football Club. And because of the tensions out east there with Russia waging war on Ukraine, the United Kingdom will not allow him back in England. And he's essentially been forced to sell the club. He recently, during our last podcast on Sunday, had moved the the club's name into the charitable trust. Now, as of Wednesday, right, he's got to sell that club. He's going to be selling it, listing it up to sale, and he's going to be donating, as you'll be able to see here, Grumpy, donating the proceeds of the sale to victims or critical funds towards urgent and immediate needs of victims, as well as supporting a long-term work of recovery.
I don't think he was forced into selling it. He just said he was going to.
The pressure is what it was. The social media pressure and the pressure via the media is what forced him to sell.
Well, see, I wouldn't have sold. I'm not letting any squawk box tell me what to do just because he's Russian. I'm sorry. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with people attacking NHL players who are Russian. It's ridiculous. They have absolutely nothing to do with the political thing and Vladimir Putin.
Well, let's go Ukraine. Let's go bit by bit, because the NHL players being attacked is a completely different onion, completely different peel of the onion, Grump.
I don't think so.
Okay, so you're not even going to talk at all about Roman Abramovich. He's not, again, if you can read that also, he's not going to be collecting, he's not going to be paid on any loans. The team owed him $1.5 billion with a B dollars. He's not going to be collecting on that. The guy's net worth, as you can see, I think I conclude, is $13 billion.
I don't know why he's selling the club. I don't understand why.
He felt it was for the best of the club's interest.
He's a dumbass. He's a dumbass. It's stupid. Why would they? I mean, obviously, it's a passion of his. He's not on the phone to Putin say attack Russia. That's Putin. Why are you punishing the Russian people? They're not responsible for that. There's not a groundswell of support among the Russian people to attack Ukraine. One guy. That's the one you punish. Why are you punishing it? Why should this guy have to sell his football club because he's of Russian descent? He's an Israeli citizen, and he's been applying for English citizenship. I mean, I don't. How much further can he get from Russia? Just because he was born there does not make him a criminal. I don't understand it. And it's the same thing with the hockey players. People
it has. Well, hold on, stop! Don't bring it into hockey yet. Jesus Christ, Grumpy. It has more to do with the fact that his profit and his business still is run from Russia. He's a Russian oligarch, Grump. That's where all of his money, that's where his profit comes from, Russian oil. So that's I think more what it has to do with than anything else, Grump. And
so what? Again, so what? So what? He's not allowed to make a living because
I'm not saying that.
He's Russian. I firmly don't believe in it. I can't believe he's doing it. Unless there's something that we don't know that he's doing illegal under the tables, because he's kind of caved immediately on everything, which is a concern for me.
Okay, Grump, I can't say I don't know anything under the table wise. All I will tell you is this. I don't think it's right that he had to immediately sell just because he is from Russia. And again, he was trying to apparently help broker some sort of peace negotiations as well between Russia and Ukraine. And you look at it, right? I think he comes out looking like much better than how he was been vilified in the media. This is a guy who is saying, yeah, the $1.5 billion that is owed by the club to me, I'm not going to collect on that. Don't worry about it. In the sale of the club, the proceeds of the sale of the club are going to go to helping, again, long-term recovery work, as well as to help the immediate victims of these attacks. And I think to myself, I'm like, yeah, sure, I understand that he's a billionaire oligarch. I'm sure he has his own issues, but to have that large of a donation like that in a time period like this, he certainly didn't have to do that. And I think to myself, he's come out, I think, looking rosier than when he was before this all started.
He's an asshole. I would never do it. Never freaking ever. I would never do it. What? Again,
never donate money to charity. Why don't you clarify on that?
I'm talking about selling the team. I don't understand. He didn't have to say anything. I don't understand why he's even feeling pressure. I don't care. All he's come up with statements is, I'm not Vladimir Putin. That's all he needs to say. I run a football team. That's what I do. That's what I do. I'm not selling it just because I'm of Russian heritage. It's ridiculous. It's stupid and ridiculous. It's typical of these times, though, isn't it? Just throw everybody under the bus. Throw out the baby with the bathwater. That's the way it is nowadays. It's wrong. It's wrong. If you were telling me that he's a guy who manufactures arms and tanks that are blowing this up, that's one thing. This guy's running a football team.
No, this guy, he's running an oil refinery. he's an oil
Okay,
pump.
so he
He's
has
doing
oil
that, and
rights.
he owns the football team. I'm not saying he should have been forced to sell. I'm just telling you
Well,
what happened and how it got here.
I didn't even hear that he was forced out. He just said, "I'm going to do it," because he thinks it's the right thing to do.
He said it was the best thing from the club. Okay, you don't have social media, so you have no earthly idea about the pressure that Chelsea Football Club and everybody else was getting from everybody on the social atmosphere. They
Just
are been
ignore it. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. He's the owner. I'm just ignoring it. And here's my statement. I'm not Vladimir Putin. That's it. Don't lump me in with him. I'm not him. Period.
Hmm.
That's what he just should have said. Instead of caving to these people, I never would have caved to them. I don't give a shit what they say. And the same people who are doing that, if they were the shoe is on the other foot, pass the shoe is on the other foot test, there's no way they sell the team either. Full crap.
Yeah, and I will tell you again, it's not just been, right? When you talk about the pressure, EA Sports has removed all Russian national teams from you can't play with them in video games anymore. And so like if you wanted to play as the Russian national team in NHL, well, that's going to be removed from your ability to do so. Same thing with FIFA. And you're talking about again now that again these conflicts continue to escalate, it seems that it's bleeding over to everything in sports as well. And again, there have been soccer players, professional Ukrainian soccer players who have died in fighting as well so far. They confirmed, I know, at least two. It's just odd to see again that it continues to bleed over into the sports world also.
I'm not saying that the Russians, again, first of all, I'm not saying the Russians should be attacking Ukraine, but to punish other people besides the people who are actually doing it is just asinine, in my opinion. This guy shouldn't be forced to sell a team. They shouldn't be. Okay, so let's say you like to play as a Russian national team as a player. Who is it hurting? It's hurting the people who use your product, is all it's doing. What are you trying? I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's
Oh,
so
and jumping
pathetic.
all over the place.
No, I'm just saying that FIFA's taken these Russian players out of the game.
No,
You
no, no,
can't
no,
play.
no, not Jesus Christ, not players, the team. So you can play as different teams. If you want to play as a country, you can no longer play as the country of Russia. You're not taking Russian players out of the game. You can no longer play as the country Russia. That's all.
Again, why? It's a video game. It's a freaking video game. It's a video game. It's not real life. It's a freaking video game. It's not reality. It's fantasy. It's fiction. It's freaking pixels on a screen. I don't even understand that logic.
The,
It's not real.
let's reel it back into where we should be talking about this, right? Again, I know you obviously would not have sold. You would have said, "No, I'm not going to do that." Let the people go ahead and boycott Chelsea and burn shit outside their stadium. I guess that wouldn't have been an issue for you. He determined.
Absolutely not. If he comes out and says, "I'm not Vladimir Putin. I don't agree with what he's done." Period. That's all you have to say.
Okay, if you
Before you
take hold
bend,
on, hold on. If you're a Russian oligarch and you take too firm of a stance, right, and you say, "I don't agree with what he's done," or you come out and verbally say that, I have a feeling that your business, which is oil, is going to be impeded upon possibly by what is the state over there. So he wasn't going to take anywhere near that firm of a stance on it, but he could say, "I'm not Putin." He's not a very vocal guy, never has been, and he's been very very quiet publicly regarding what Putin has done. I think if he did come out and say something like that, there would have been no backlash at all towards him, but he didn't.
that's how you do it. But that's how you do it.
Okay, okay. Who knows what Roman Abramovich thinks? I have
Well, here's the
no
thing.
idea. He
Unless
maybe is
there's
great friends with Vladimir Putin. No freaking idea. I'm just saying
unless
he they're forced to sell.
unless there's some skeletons in his closet, because he's caved immediately on everything. Unless I don't think there was even that much pressure on him. I didn't see anything. He's being pressured to sell the club. He just did it. Immediately he came out. I just think unless there's skeletons in the closet, and there possibly could be, that he doesn't want getting exposed, that's a whole nother thing. I mean, if he's not squeaky clean like he's portraying himself to be, that's something totally different. But I mean, he's just a businessman. I mean, unless he's standing there with Putin and say, "Yeah, let's attack Ukraine," that's totally different. Just because you're Russian heritage does not make you guilt by association. It just doesn't. I'm sorry.
Mm. Mm-mm. Well, and now you're saying here we can go ahead and move along. Again, I don't disagree. Right, he should be punished because he's Russian. That being said, uh, I don't know. He determined to do what was he thought was best for a club that he's loved. And you think it's stupid. I think it's really valiant. He doesn't want to drag them through the consistent mud. And trust me, the way you see everything pan out on social media, the people who get irate about these type of items don't just go away. They burn shit out in front. They start destroying the stadium. They go crazy. They're unhappy. So they get very upset. He doesn't want to put Chelsea's name in a club that he's built up through that. He doesn't want to do that. And I think
Whatever.
it's valiant. Okay, you could say whatever. I think it's valiant that he wants to keep the club in the best shape that's humanly possible. I think
I
that's
just
valiant by him.
I just think they're two separate issues. That's all. I
What do you
mean,
mean?
they're two separate issues. Abramovich is not.
I'm not saying he is.
He's not Putin.
I'm not saying he
I
is.
mean, I just don't believe in punishing people because their heritage is where somebody else is doing something wrong. Does that mean when Idi Amin was in power in Uganda and was murdering people all over the place, every Ugandan should be thrown under the bus? No, of course not. I mean, it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous to do stuff like that. Very dangerous. And I'm not saying, to me, screw the Russians. I could care less about them. But this guy has nothing to do with the war. And I'm going to go back to the NHL and the abuse the players are taking because they're Russian. I'm sorry, there's something wrong about that. They have no power. They're not saying attack Ukraine. They're just guys who are playing hockey. They're not there saying go Putin, attack Ukraine. Now, if you do something like that, absolutely you deserve abuse. But just because they're Russians, they shouldn't be getting vilified for that. It's the same thing that I had. It's the same stance that I had for people who didn't want to get vaccinated for COVID-19. Same thing. You can't vilify people because they don't want to get vaccinated. And it's real easy in social media just to lump them like they're the bad people. They're enemy of everyone else. No, I'm sorry. It's just wrong. I mean, it's just wrong. If you're part of that, wanting to attack Ukraine, burn them at the stake. I could care less. But you got people who are living all over Russia who don't want war with Ukraine. Absolutely do not.
Well,
And
most times it's not the people, it's not the individuals, and right, I think that
that's my point.
it always okay.
Just
Long
because you're
story
born in
short,
Russia does not make you a criminal of the world. Sorry.
okay. Long story short, the general normal people do not want war. General normal people in the United States didn't want war in Libya, didn't want Afghanistan, etc. It's not, and you look back on it, and say, yeah, we have no moral high ground off of what we've done in the past. All I'm saying is this: Roman Abramovich is not a general normal person, so that's why it's a little different, right? You look at Alexander Ovechkin, you look at guys like, you look at Panarin, right? They came out openly, said no to war, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. I didn't see anything like that from him. And I'm not saying it would have completely saved and prevented any sort of social backlash. All I'm saying was he did not want his club that he had built from really low standards at the time period when he had bought it up to the heights where it was. He didn't want that to be dragged through the mud. And again, he sold it. I don't think he should have been forced to sell it, but I feel like it's I mean, for a guy like that to really want to put the club before, saying, hey, I want to still own this. And he says, you know what? I want this club to be as successful as possible. And I feel like there may be ramifications if I'm the owner. So I feel I have to sell it for the best interest of the club. I think that's valiant, not taking any money, donating that to the proceeds of, the victims there of the war. I think that's valiant.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say, you know what? He's got some skeleton in his closet. So that's why he's doing this. He doesn't want to get exposed on other stuff. That's what I'm saying.
Tinfoil hat, grumpy old man.
Yeah, I can do that. I can play that role. No problem.
The Islanders are flying high in the third. Pavillia goal, 3-2. NHL Russian players, of course, they'll do it without blinking an eye. I didn't read the whole thing, but Alexander says, yes, they're taking out the Russian teams on FIFA and the NHL games, which
who does that hurt? It only hurts the users of the game.
I was about to say, right?
It's not so stupid.
Well, here's the thing. I think the world is trying to make a collaborative effort to try to impress upon the people of Russia that Yeah.
It's not the people of Russia.
Hold on. Listen, I know it's not the people of Russia. If you have enough people stand up in the country to say, no, what we're doing is wrong. We can't let this happen. It turns, right? I mean,
Okay, let me just stop you. It's a freaking communist country with a hardline communist in charge. You know what he'll do to his own people? He'll squash their asses because that's what they do in communism.
if enough people stand up, they squash the leader. Simple as that. Look at look
okay.
at all these overthrows. Look
yeah,
at
like
them.
I said, it's a communist country. They keep their people under their thumb. Absolutely. It's a dictatorial system. That's what it is. He'd rather kill his opponents than bow down. That's what dictators do. I'm just telling you that throughout history. Idi Amin and Uganda, same thing. Just kill everybody who didn't agree with them. They're dictators. You cannot deal with dictators. You think Vladimir Putin cares less about what's said on social media? He could care less.
I'm not saying he cares. I'm saying if the people of the country have a little bit of a realization and awakening and stand together. I'm not saying it's something happens to me. I'm not saying it's something happens immediately. Well, here's the thing, Grumpy. If you're playing the video games, guess what? The news doesn't control that, and they say, "Well, hold on a second. Why can't I play as my home country as the video game? Why is that?"
Think after you've been trained your whole life,
small things, all these small things. It's like it's one thing. It's all these small things that add up. I can understand what's going on. And I'm not saying I agree with it or not. I understand the thought process, though.
Okay, so when you've been trained your whole life from growing up that the West is evil, and the only station to listen to is Pravda News, and you're hearing something on social media, you know what's coming out on Pravda? They're attacking us because they don't believe in our system. You don't know how communism works. You were not alive during the Cold War. I don't expect you to know. Just believe me when I tell you that. They have everything under their thumb. Everything.
They don't have FIFA and NHL and other items like that on globe. Okay, well,
they're attacking us because they're not us.
No, hold on. What? They're not attacking. Hold on a second.
That's how they sell it. They're attacking us. You realize how they're pushing it in Russia, right? Ukraine started this. That's their news cycle. Even though it's not true, that's what the news that people get. They're not getting CNBC or Fox News. They're getting, Red Star Central, whatever the hell it is over there. It's not the same. It just isn't.
Let's move along through these comments. Yeah, look what Putin's doing to the people. Yeah, and then Russia not allowed to compete in. Yep, Russian national team not allowed to compete in the World Cup. I have no issue with that. I absolutely believe it. I don't think they should be able to compete on the national stage. I will say one thing about the Olympics, right? The Olympics were supposed to be a time period to where, like, somebody put it in a very articulate manner, where the Olympics are supposed to, it's supposed to glorify the human race in the sport of competition, right? You compete for your country, but in the same token, what, Grump? It's supposed to allow you safe passage. Even when things were bad, you're still supposed to all be able to compete. It's supposed to glorify the human race.
Again, that's not the way the communists view it. They view it as a way to show their dominance over the Western culture. That's the way they view it. China and Russia, they've always viewed it like that. They're always cheating. Why? Because they want to show that they're superior.
Hold on, everybody cheats. It's not just don't ascribe it to those two countries.
Okay, I am ascribing it to them because they've been caught numerous times. I'm talking about going back to the 1970s, where they used professionals as amateurs. They're all part of the Russian army, so they're getting paid to be in the army, but they're actually just playing a sport. It's the way they've always operated. They look at it differently. That's not the way they look at the Olympics. They look at, just like Hitler did. He looked at it as a way to show the ultimate German culture, right? That's how dictators look at it.
Okay. I literally just made a comment saying, should Russians be banned from Olympic events? And I said, no. Here's why I think that. Holy shit, man. Don't drag it all over the place, Grump. Think before. Come on. Tony Hopenny says here, I think it's a little more complicated than that. I feel like if he keeps a team and denounces Putin, he gets it from Russia for certain, right? That's one thing that you don't seem to imagine, because they would just seize his oil, and they'd say, yeah, Roman Abramovich, no longer. He keeps a team and doesn't speak out. and he gets it from everyone else. AKA the team gets it, and he gets it. So it was a no-win situation. He said to sell the team, remain neutral is probably what he's thinking. I think whatever he donates just doesn't just go to the Ukrainians. I think he's going to donate to all the members or all people. I did read that there was speculation he's also going to donate to the Russian individuals affected by war. All individuals affected by war. It's awful.
Yeah. No, nobody's condoning it. I'm just saying, what does it tell you? It doesn't make them look so holy and mighty if that's the case. Well, I don't want to hear from Russia. They might take away my oil money. Well, then he's looking out for his own personal interests, and that's what I mean by skeletons in the closet. What's most important, Chelsea Football Club or making sure that he's getting his oil money? If that's the case, it's the oil money, and he should just be honest about it. I'm not jeopardizing my oil money to own this club. Just be honest about it. Stop trying to be Saint, what's his first name?
Roman.
Saint Roman. Don't try to be that. I don't believe it. I just don't believe him. He's not stupid. The guy's not stupid. You don't get to be owning the football club by being dumb.
Okay. Drew L says it isn't just a game, Grump. This is life. Connor Garland with a goal 3-3. He said, never mind. It's Niels Holander. Islanders down now 4-3. 2 goals given up in 45 seconds down 4-3. Grumpy's pro-Russian rhetoric is concerning.
It's not pro-Russian at all. It's pro-people. It's pro-people.
Rob G says, look like we're going to blow this game now, too. Oh, boy. And Drew L says, that's stupid about what our generation preaches for no discrimination and equality, yet they cancel anyone they that is, are with this fame. People, it's just because, they're not the same. As I say, it's all the human race. Anyway.
That's the problem I have with it.
Half the Islanders ownership is Russian. I wasn't sure of that. And Putin gave me major Soviet Union vibes. Yeah, and Hasek and Ovi got into it. Yeah, I was about to say, I can understand Hasek's comments, but no, I don't agree with them.
Here's the problem with Ovechkin in his comments. He said he doesn't believe in the war, but he's my president. See, that makes him look bad. He just should have said, I don't believe in the war. What now?
I didn't know he said at the end.
Yes, but he's my president. I'm like, that's not a good look. You could just say you don't believe in the war. And I firmly believe no one wants to be in a war. No one wants to be in it. It's real easy for Putin to say, yes, go attack. He doesn't care about the people who get killed. He doesn't care about the Ukrainians. He doesn't care about the Russians either. He cares about total power. That's what they care about. He's a dictator, period. Just like the old Soviet dictators of old. They're all the same. They're communists and they're dictators.
Are we going to continue to talk about that, Grump, or is this a sports podcast? Can you remind me? Is this
you're the one who brought him up.
No. I brought up Roman Abramovich, and I bring up sports items, and you keep dragging the shit somewhere else, which I don't like. I don't know why you just can't stay on freaking topic. Look, your face looks as red as a freaking your face looks as red as a tomato because you haven't got a chance to breathe today, Grumpy. Breathe, baby. Deep breaths, Grump. Deep breaths, man.
Next topic.
My goodness gracious. Now, did you happen to see, and I will butcher the hell out of his name, Ivan Mirosh, I couldn't even pronounce his name. I hope we don't draft him because Butch would never be able to pronounce this name. But he got diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, a guy who's supposed to be a top 10 pick in this year's draft. He was branded as looking lazy. He was left off of the competition, the World Juniors, the Russian team, and that left a whole bunch of people asking questions. Oh, why is he not on the Russian national team for the World Juniors? And it found out he's got Hodgkin lymphoma. That was the reason why.
Yeah, that could be part of the reason.
He's going to step away from hockey for a bit and get everything taken care of in that realm.
Well, good for him. Hopefully he gets better.
Yep.
Now, he sounds like he's a Russian guy. Should we hope that he dies from this? I don't know. You tell me.
No, Grumpy. What are you doing that for? Why are you doing that?
I'm just saying. He's Russian. Does he deserve our sympathy?
Probably yes.
Not. Okay.
Why do you say that?
I don't know because I don't know.
No, what do you mean I am? No, I wasn't. I
don't even understand that line of thinking. Okay, what's the next topic? I feel bad for him. Long story short.
Holy shit, Grumpy. My God. It's like you weren't paying attention.
The name was actually not that tough to pronounce.
Okay, Grump. It's not something I would pronounce. Was that?
Miroshnichenko.
Yeah, not a name that I'd be able to pronounce. Not a household name.
Butch, you're right. Butch would not be. He would just call him Miro.
or whatever. He would just call him, what's his first name? He just call him Ivan. Ivy.
Yeah, there you go.
Ivan. Yeah, well, shit. By the time he would make it to the NHL roster, he would no longer be a part of the team. Oh my gosh. Or he would no longer be probably part of the broadcasting crew. But I thought you'd find this a little interesting. We always talk about how you don't really get to hear too much of what goes on the ice. And like with other sports, right? NFL, they have get everybody mic'd up, so you get to know the players a little more, get kind of like the inside, you get the inside view of what's going on. Now, I thought this was a very, very funny interaction between Steve Ott and Ryan Reeves, and I'll let you listen to it. I was laughing my ass
Steve
off.
Ott?
Yes, Steve Ott. Why don't we just listen to it, Grump? I'll pull it up. But Steve Ott, the coach. I just like the
I couldn't understand anything he said, not one word.
Oh shit! Were you not able? Oh,
I
man.
could not understand anything that he said. Either one, not one word.
Okay, Grumpy. I'll let you. Long story short, right? It's Steve Ott and Ryan Reeves. Now, hopefully, you're able to read it, and they're just it's friendly banter going back and forth, just shit talking each other. And he's saying, "Oh, I don't even know who the hell you are. Turn around." And Steve Ott just giving it back to me, looking old as hell. So it was just friendly banter. I wish we would get to see more of that side of hockey. We don't see it all that often. I would love to see that side of the sport.
Yes, I agree. That's what a lot of it is. Stuff like that before the whistle blows and the puck drops. These guys all know one another. Good for them. I enjoy that. Like I said, I could not understand a word they said. The music was too loud in the background. I couldn't actually hear anything.
Oh man, Grumpy. But let's go ahead and move on. I had a few hockey items. Now I want to talk a little bit about the MLB. MLB just seems like they can't go ahead and stop shooting themselves in the foot. But before we get to that big topic of discussion today, we do have an ad to read from DraftKings. Hoop fans, the latest offer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is too good to pass up. I'm talking between the legs, 360 windmill good. New customers can bet just $1 on any team and get $150 in free bets if they win. It's that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still take a shot at a big payday. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes at DraftKings Daily Fantasy Basketball Contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN and bet just $1 on any NBA team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 years or older. Minimum age and location requirements vary by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for a full list of requirements and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Void where prohibited. Minimum of a $5 deposit is required. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Tennessee, call or text TN Redline, which is 1-800-889-9789. In Connecticut, call 888-789 or 789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369.
Hope Penny.
That's right. The famous Hope Penny, Grump. Yeah, I've seen that, Alexander, where they're not selling Russian liquor.
Now that's fine. That's fine. If you
if you don't buy anymore, that's great. But I'm like, why are they not? I'm just like, you've been seeing like the people pouring out the Russian liquor. I'm like, okay, we've already paid for that one.
The way you stock them, the way you stop them is by cutting off their cash supply. Don't let anybody buy oil from them. That stops it. That's the only thing that's going to stop it. Cut up their money.
Farley to the bench. And guess who the extra skater is? Josh freaking Bailey. Chalk it up. Another loss. The Islanders lose 4-3. Great for the tank, though. Absolutely. There was a play that Pajot could have passed to Bailey, and Pajot even went full on selfish mode. Even he doesn't trust Josh Bailey.
Well, Josh Bailey wouldn't have shot. I don't even know where he was, but he wouldn't have shot anyway. So why pass it to him?
Let's talk a little MLB apparently the MLB and the MLBPA on Tuesday were dangerously close, extremely close, right at the finish line to getting an agreement. And the MLBPA apparently got a little tough with them. And long story short, now they've got. I've been hearing rumors that if you see baseball before May, they would be shocked. They expect now the MLB and the MLBPA to really be hunkering down on their sides after not being able to get a deal done at the last minute.
Yeah. What the rumor going around is that the owners want to lose a month. This way the players lose out on a month's worth of salary. They've, in essence, agreed to 12 playoff teams from the 10 that now qualify. And MLB wanted 14, but they agreed on 12. Everything now is just about money, how to split the pie up. So let's see what happens. I think that the owners, from the minute that the lockout started, wanted to lock the players out and miss games for this year. I firmly believe that. I think they wanted to start negotiating earlier. The players didn't want to do it. And Scott Boras is a main part of this. He likes to wait till the last second. And I think he overplayed his hand in this instance, because I think the owners were steadfast, saying, you know what, we'll lose a month of the season, period.
The MLB's freaking pissing me off. The MLB owners are killing the game.
They want to reset. You know what? Maybe instead of having this ridiculous luxury tax thing, why don't you just make a salary cap, whatever it is, and say there's a floor and a ceiling? What's wrong with that?
The floor and the ceiling, it couldn't be anywhere near as the disparity as it is, and it would involve players getting paid a whole lot less. These small market teams, they're not going to be able to say, oh, we can justify spending XYZ amount of money. We're a small market team. We can't spend the same as, the Steinbrenners, the New York teams, the Boston Red Sox, etc. We can't compete with that.
They all can compete for it. They just don't want to. These guys all are loaded. It's not like a mom and pop baseball team. I mean, it's just not the way it is. The Steinbrenners don't have the money half of these teams have. The other teams just don't want to spend the money. They want to make it as a business. They don't really care if they win or lose, as long as they have their local revenue coming in, as long as they're making money every year. How many teams don't spend anywhere near where they should spend so that they can line their own pockets? It's just the way it's always been like that in baseball, always. And Major League Baseball, the Players Association, wants to have it where, these teams cannot, in essence, tank, a season away because of the draft thing. They said, well, maybe they'll have the draft lottery or something like that for the worst 6 teams. I don't know. Baseball is just kind of different in that regard.
Well, shit, the draft goes pretty much as long as they want to. So, there's like 500 plus names drafted every single year.
Yeah. I think it's whenever somebody stops drafting or something like that. That's the end.
That's what it goes as long as they want.
Yeah.
There is not like 7 rounds. You can go 57 rounds if you really want to.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating for it, but you could.
Into the 30s anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. This entire thing between the MLB and the MLBPA, it had the smell that there was going to be some sort of extended lockout or delayed start to the season. And sure enough, that's what happened. Again, we had heard multiple times on Tuesday. I think I even got a notification saying, hey, it's in the finishing stages, and we're about to see baseball here. They're only going to miss 2 games. And then that didn't
They'll cancel a week at a time. They're not going to say, okay, we're not going to come back until May. They're going to cancel a week at a time.
Well, no, I'm just saying, based off the person I was listening to was on Stephen A. and I think Mad Mike. He was talking about
Mad Dog Chris Russo.
Yeah, Mad Dog. He said that he would be shocked based off of his sources if you see baseball before by the time period May rolls around, by the beginning of May.
And it's a mistake. I mean, to me, you had to get this done. It seems like the players had kind of bent on quite a few things that the owners wanted to have happen. But like I said, I just think the owners wanted to lock them out and delay the start of the season. Remember, last year, they only wanted to play like 60 games last year. The players have to play games to get paid. The owners don't. So they wanted 60 games last year, and they wanted playing more, but that's what the owners wanted. So it's not a surprise to me that they want to shorten the amount of games that are played.
Hopefully we get baseball back soon, though. It's getting around that time of year, and I'm ready to watch some baseball games.
Me too.
Drew L saying he sent us a nice picture of Barry Trotz looking irate, who just looks flabbergasted. Just look at that, Barry Trotz.
That's how he looks most of the time.
I was about to say, he just looks out of it. Man, he just looks like, I don't know what else I can do.
I mean, I watched the first 2 periods of this game, and it's like they'll play well, then they give up a goal, and all of a sudden they can't even clear their zone. I'm like, what is wrong with this team? And we talked about it last night. It's like, what's wrong with this team? I mean, we cannot seem to put a whole game together, full 60 minutes, ever.
Got a comment here, Alexander, saying, yeah, I sit through watching the 99 Mets and the 2000 Mets, the funniest Mets team. Or the funnest Mets team, I'm sorry. Yeah, Mad Dog, Chris Russo. Jeremy F. says here, the Islanders picked 12th to 15th in the draft. And 10th pick, a Russian like Yurov or Mikrosh. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Miroshnichenko. If he drops outside the top 10, would you take him? Well, here's the thing. I would jump best talent available. And if he drops because he's got Hodgkin lymphoma, I'm jumping all over that for certain. Well, I hope we're in a position where we continue just to play so utterly poorly that we get an even better pick than 12th is what I'm hoping. Hopefully this nosedive and tailspin continues to go further and further down.
Well, I'm not rooting for us to lose every game, but I see what you're saying. But I certainly would like a top 10 pick, without a doubt.
All I know is I was reading some of the destinations for Philip Forsberg, and wouldn't you know it, the Detroit Red Wings popped their pretty little name up there, and wouldn't you know it, Philip Zadina, as well as additional items, young players and picks going back in return to Nashville. It's almost like, I could see that coming, just like, I thought I saw the Nick Leddy trade coming miles ahead of time. Don't be shocked at all if he ends up in Detroit with Stevie Y. He signs himself a big contract. He's on an up-and-coming team like that.
Here's the thing. Right now, they're loaded with young players. A little veteran leadership, like a Philip Forsberg, is exactly what they need. And you lose Zadina. I mean,
he hasn't performed much. And again, if he still has, right, he's got the rep for being a guy who is, a top 5 talent in that year's draft. And he's hasn't performed all that well yet. And nothing would indicate that he's going to be on the up and up anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to moving him. Other guys have passed him on the depth chart. No problem there. I think Forsberg, that's a good fit for them. But is he going to re-sign? That's the whole thing.
Detroit doesn't make a trade for him if he does not already got a plan to re-sign. Drew L. says it's because Barry's system over the 82-game season gasses the team out. The Knicks are the same exact way.
Yeah, but we were flat to start the year. The whole first, 2 months? Terrible.
Alexander says, Brock Besser, I think he ends up with the Islanders.
I wouldn't mind him on the Islanders. I like his game.
He wouldn't gel with Barry Trotz, man. That's the thing. When you have Barry Trotz and you have a guy who's going to hinder every which idea for you and every which player for you, it's tough to be successful when you have a guy like that.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying he couldn't be successful elsewhere, but I just don't think he'll excel in the system.
He gets the most out of a less talented team than just about anybody else.
We got here the NFL effective immediately. NFL are suspending all COVID-19 protocols, so probably going into next year, no more COVID protocol in the NFL. Whew,
good.
Thank goodness. I was about to say, you're trying to bounce for fantasy football wise, right? You're trying to bounce around every which player all the time. COVID out, COVID this. It ruined my fantasy football
because a guy tests positive, not sick, but tests positive. I mean, if you're not sick, who cares?
You saw this. This is unofficial. I'm not sure what it was official, but Taquan Thornton here, he had, look at this 40 time, Grump. And the wide receivers ran their 40s today, and they are unbelievable times across the board. You saw a lot of low and mid 4.2 40s, and those are usually more rare. It's like one guy runs it. It had like 3 or 4 wideouts run a 4.2 40 or around a 4.2 40.
And he looks like a pretty big guy. And this is notoriously slow track in Indianapolis. That's why they want the guys to run here. They want everyone running here. It gives you true feeling of how fast that player is.
Yeah, and I mean, Olave ran extremely quick. A lot of those wideouts had fantastic runs today. And now there was another item, Grumpy Old Man, that you had sent me that was a big takeaway from today. Probably top 10 pick Kenny Pickett came away with small hands.
Tiny,
Ooh,
tiny.
8.5 inch hands.
That's the
Ooh.
small. That'd be smaller than any quarterback in the league.
Okay, let's go ahead and post this up here. And I'll give you a little graphic. Ooh, 8.5 inches. Former Pitt quarterback Kenny Pickett's right hand was measured at 8.5 inches, which would be the smallest out of any quarterback currently in the NFL. Let me ask you
And
this. Do you think that's an issue for him?
I do feel that's an issue. Not for him, but any quarterback.
Why?
What does it mean? It's tougher for you to grip the ball, particularly in cold weather.
Why do you feel like that's an issue for him?
Because what do you hold better, a tennis ball or a beach ball? What do you hold better with your hand?
I'm setting you, Grump, because guess what? He plays in Pittsburgh. He plays at Heinz Field. He plays in extremely cold weather, and he plays in one of those tough atmospheres to play football. He plays that every single week. He plays at the University of Pittsburgh. It's not like this is a kid who was playing in a dome his entire college career. The guy was playing outdoors at Heinz Field, notoriously very tough to play football in Pittsburgh. He did that with small hands, and he posted good numbers. I don't know.
You're not going to be playing Piddly Pump U at the ACC.
Clemson. You're not playing teams like Clemson. Yeah, well, you're not playing college teams. Yeah, but you know what? They played Clemson. He played well against Clemson too.
Okay, I'm just saying it's better to have a bigger hand when you're throwing the football.
I know. I'm asking, what do you think the impact is going to be, right? I could say if this is a guy who had played in a dome or played in fantastic weather, or he's playing out in California and everything's, fantastic weather out there, sunny all the time, I could see this maybe affecting draft stock. I don't think it's going to affect his draft stock much.
You realize he's also been doing like finger stretching exercises. That's why at the Senior Bowl, he wouldn't let them measure his hand. You wear a glove, it makes your hand look bigger, first of all.
He always wears gloves. He always wears a glove when he throws.
Well, it's because he can't hold the ball without it.
Who gives a shit?
For a quarterback, you better be able to hold that ball when you're throwing it.
He wears a glove when he throws. He's done it his entire career.
I understand, but that's why
I watched every one of their games. Well, I don't care why he watched it. What do you think when he gets to the NFL, he can't wear the glove?
I think no. I just think that it could be a problem. If I'm looking at quarterbacks, I'm looking for a guy who's got a bigger hand. It's not a kill. It's not a death sentence for me. But if I have one guy who they're very similar in talent, one guy has an 11-inch hand, one guy has a 4.5-inch hand like Kenny Pickett, I'm going to pick the guy with the 11-inch hand.
I pick the guy who plays better. Here's the thing: college footballs are bigger than NFL footballs, so it's tougher to grip a college ball than it would be an NFL ball.
We're going to find out.
What do you mean we're going to find out?
We're going to find out. That's all I'm saying. I mean, his thing, like I said, I don't think it's supremely problematic, but I'd much rather have a guy who's got a bigger hand on the ball. I just think it helps you. That's all. You have more margin for error. That's all.
Well, hold on a second. Maybe college, it depends. They have a wide measurement for college footballs. They range anywhere between 10 and 7/8 of an inch to 11 and 7/16 of an inch, where the NFL balls range between 11 inches and 11 and 11.25 inch. I don't know. I always thought the balls were always bigger and fatter in college than they were the NFL balls we'd used.
I'm not going to say that it's a death knell for him, but I don't think it's going to cause him to drop in the draft. But I like my quarterbacks to have bigger hands. It gives you more margin for error. That's all. You got a ball, guys hacking you from behind. You got a bigger hand to hold that ball. You're not going to fumble it as easily if your hand is smaller. Just stuff like that.
And I'll pop this up here. Boop. Yeah, I was about to say they range. I don't know. I always thought the college ball was bigger. Maybe I'm wrong on this. I have no earthly idea. But let me remove that banner off the bottom so you're able to see it. It looks like there's more room to negotiate whether you have a smaller or bigger ball. Here's the thing. He played in Pittsburgh. He played at Heinz Field. Again, I'll say it one more time. If he was playing in a dome, I think this affects Mike, right? If we're playing in the Carrier Dome and you're putting up, video game numbers, right? I think there's real reason to question, okay, what does he look like, out there in a cold atmosphere? What does he look like up there in Indianapolis? What does he look like, if he was playing in New York? What do these numbers look like? He's playing at Heinz Field. So I don't know, a little different.
Yeah. We're going to find out, though. He'll probably be the first quarterback drafted, even though that Malik Willis kid is starting to rocket up the charts based on his interviews with teams. And he's just supremely gifted athletically. He's got huge hands, too.
You talk about a good person. Again, like he recently had, I know you don't look at all at social media, but let me go ahead and try to pull this up for you, Grumpy. There's a video of him recently helping out a homeless individual and
Willis?
Yes,
Willis.
Okay,
I didn't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I said. The guy you just had mentioned, it was rocketing up the boards. Yes, Malik Willis. And I'll pull this up for you. And here we go. Give me one moment.
But he's a guy, if he's available at the tail end of the first round, like maybe New Orleans is interested in him, somebody like that. I mean, the only reason why he's ranked so low is that he played at Liberty University.
His numbers weren't great at Liberty either.
Well, you're playing with lesser talented players as well.
He's playing at a lesser. What is this? Liberty 1AA? I don't know. We've seen enough of the 1AA QBs, right? They're not as good, generally speaking. Not always, but generally speaking.
Yeah, I'm just saying that he's got the highest upside out of all the quarterbacks in this year's draft. Where I think Kenny Pickett, yes, where Kenny Pickett is probably the most NFL ready right now.
But that's a video of him helping out a homeless individual there again with the cameras. He didn't know obviously he's being filmed there, and he's just helping somebody out. I think someone just happened to notice him.
Everything you hear about him, he's just a fine young man. So I root for guys like that. I automatically root for people. I root for people. And the older I get, the more I root for people.
Yeah, and again, like you look at it, remember, Joe Burrow received the same sort of criticism that Kenny Pickett's going through right now as well. I mean, this was a tweet from Joe Burrow back in February 24th of 2020, considering retirement after being informed the football will be slipping out of my tiny hands. Please keep me in your thoughts. He measured a 9-inch hand. So
that's a big difference.
8.5 to 9 inches.
Yeah.
How big of a difference is it, Grump?
Huge.
Well, let me go ahead and show you this. So this was an interesting article just to go ahead and show you what it would be. This would be, that mark is smaller than the combine measurement of any QB currently in the NFL. And if Pickett were selected in the first round, he would have the smallest hands of any quarterback taken on the first day since 2003. That's a long time.
And remember, he's been doing finger stretching exercises to make his hand appear larger than it is.
You think you can stretch your hand out? What do? You're going to snap your bones off?
Probably knuckle cracking, putting weights on his fingers, anything to drag it out there.
Do you think he was putting a whole bunch of masking tape on? He was doing like Edward Scissorhands, except he was having to stand up. He was having to stand up on a bench, and he's got like 100-pound weights tied to the bottom of it, so it's stretching his fingers out.
What they do is they tie his fingers, and he hangs from a ceiling with his fingers like that. So all his body weight is dragging down. Then they put weights on his shoulders to stretch those fingers out.
That shit does absolutely nothing for you. I firmly believe. I mean, what is going to get you? Maybe like a quarter of an. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah, because then you'd only have, like I said, 4-inch hands instead of 4.5.
Who cares?
Here's the thing. He knew it was a problem, so he went to work on it. He knew it was a problem. If he didn't think it was a problem, he wouldn't have done anything about it. So his agent told him, you better do something. Your hands are too damn small. By the way, we're going to give you the baby pen to finish up your contract signing here. Give you number 2 pencil because you can't handle a pen. Too big for you.
That's right. He's got small hands. That's I don't know.
It's not a death knell for him. But let's be honest. If you're getting the ball gets knocked out of your hands, if you have a bigger hand, it's easier to hold the ball. That's all. I don't think it's the end of the world for him.
There it is.
Jared Goff Jr.
Oh, Jared Goff only had 9-inch hands as well. Kenny Pickett's hands are way too small for him to play in a cold weather NFL city like Pittsburgh. That's for certain, Grump.
Yeah, but when was that season over? When was their season over? November?
No. What?
When's their season
played through December. They played through
I thought they at the end of November is the end of the college football season. They go to bowl game, but I thought end of November was the end of the season.
Oh, Grumpy gonna make me pull that up. Give me a sec.
I'm just saying it wasn't super cold in Pittsburgh in November.
Really?
Yeah. No problem there. Don't worry. I don't care. You don't need to check temperature graphs for Pittsburgh.
I'm not checking temperature.
I know you like them. I understand you like them.
The last well, here's the thing. This year, the last home game they have was on November 27th.
So, the end of November. And he played in Charlotte.
Away game.
He played in Charlotte on December whatever, the week after December 4th, and it was warm. So there was no problem down here. And then where did they play in their bowl game?
Michigan State. They played Michigan State in the Peach Bowl. So I assume Georgia.
So that's in the Dome also. So
all I'm going to say is he's played in the Quicken Lane Bowls from back in years past. So they played up there in cold weather. The Quicken Lane Bowls in Eastern Michigan in December 26th. Ooh.
Probably threw a lot of interceptions that day.
Ooh, at Ford.
Fumbling the ball over the place because looks like
his field is a dome. So that's technically indoors.
There you go. So there you go.
But here's the thing. I'm not sure what type of effect it's going to have on him. His draft position, that's more what I think. I don't know what type of impact it'll have on his draft position. I don't think it's going to do enough to severely deter a team from being interested in him. Again, it'll be interesting to see, though. This is a time period where people could literally jump or just plummet off of boards just because of a few tests. They say, oh, your fingers are too small. Oh, we don't like your Wonderlic score. Oh, this, oh, that. This is the time period, the crazy and wacky time period.
See, I know they got rid of the Wonderlic score.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, they did. And honestly, I'd want something that tests the player's intelligence, particularly quarterbacks, offensive linemen, because there's certain things they need to be a little bit, it's more of a team aspect for them. A quarterback, you need to be able to read defenses. How do you pick up, the systems that they're trying to run, diagnose plays? I just think that those things are kind of important.
Trust me, in interviews, they ask the hell out of those questions. They'll be able to test really quickly to see if a quarterback is knowledgeable and able to locate defenses and what he knows and doesn't. Shay says here, pretty sure the Islanders are officially eliminated from the playoffs. Too bad, no MLB. At least there's minor league and college baseball.
There's Shay and Shannon. Nice picture.
Absolutely. And Drew L says, okay, so Taquan is going to be the next DK Metcalf. Noted. No, he's nowhere near. DK Metcalf is a physical specimen. The NFL football is bigger. The funny thing was, I always used to, maybe it's fatter is what I don't know. Maybe it's a little fatter. I remember I used to have a guy who was a college kicker who told me that sometimes the reason why it's tough for NFL kickers or college kickers to make the jump to the NFL because the college ball is fatter, so the sweet spot they can hit is wider, where in the NFL it's a little more difficult because it's a little bit more narrow.
I think the white lines on the ball also give it a perception that it's a little squattier than it is, maybe.
Perhaps. Alexander says it won't affect his draft stock. TJ, don't forget to. Oh, thank you. I would have forgotten there. And Brett Favre had huge hands. That's why he was able to throw it through a wall. I mean, they used to have him throw it up into the second. He'd try to throw it to the lights.
He had a cannon.
What did he used to do? I remember the stories of Brett Favre, and he would like throw it up into the second stands.
I don't know. He'd throw it up all the way with a guy covered by 9 guys, and he'd be surprised it got picked off.
They used to do this on his rookie year before he was actually playing in the lineup. He would used to just go there and he just used to have him rocket the ball up into the second stanchion, I believe.
That was when he was with Atlanta his rookie year.
Yeah. And they literally
You want to know why teams are losers? You draft a guy in the second round like that. He's not a starter his first year, and you trade him, and he wants to be in a Hall of Famer. That's why you're a loser in Atlanta. Sorry.
Oh man, I tell you something else, Grumpy, something else. Drew L says, bro, I feel like the NFL is trying anything they can to stay out of the public. Now they're talking about
stay in the public.
Or to stay in the public. Now they're talking about Kenny Pickett's hands. Such a pathetic story.
Well, it's combine week, so you're going to pick these things apart. And if that was like if they had a guy who had a knee injury or something, how's he going to run on the knee? How's the knee?
How do you look at his movement drills? Oh, okay, right here. Oh, he opened up his gait a little bit too quick there. Okay, he looks a little stiff and rigid still. That could be a big problem for him regarding a draft.
They throw the like the little pass catching drill where they do the flip flop both sides, and then you run down the field catching passes, looking on either side, and it's like, oh, I don't know if I call that one a catch. How does he extend his hands? All this stuff. They let it get into his body. Are you able to run through it while still catching and adjusting your hands as opposed to having to change your gait? Just things like that. They have to fill time because those are pretty boring drills. And these guys go through 50 guys or whatever, 30 guys run through it, 40 guys run through it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, eventually it's like, what else are you going to say about it? Oh boy, he looks mighty good in those shorts. I mean, what else are you going to say?
They say shit like, he's got a bubble butt right there. He looks extremely athletic. And you take stuff out of context like that. It's always funny.
That's what they say about linemen, right?
He's got an athletic build. He's got a bubble butt right there. He looks extremely athletic. He's not one of those guys that are overweight. He's really built like an athlete. He may be 320 pounds, but he's built like an athlete. You hear all that shit and you just kind of laugh.
Yeah. But I mean, you got to have a little bit of lead in your behind there if you're going to be like an offensive lineman. I mean, you got to be strong in the lower body without a doubt.
Well, let's go ahead and show this last little portion. Apparently it is from, what is that? Is this the price? Not the prices. This is
Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. I don't know how you don't get this, honestly.
What? Another feather in your cap.
Yes.
Okay, let's watch how this transpires.
Another feather in your hat.
Mm.
In your cat?
Another feather in your hat.
650. G. No
G.
Thomas.
Oh, I was going to say just off. Thomas probably knows the freaking answer to. He's like, God damn it.
Also,
Okay.
another feather in your lap.
What the? Take that woman out and shoot her in the head.
Oh my God.
You know
Thomas is waiting. Thomas is waiting. He's like, damn it. He's probably going to roll bankrupt another time.
D.
D.
Let's see if Thomas can get another bankrupt.
Thomas, I think.
Oh, Thomas! There it is. Thomas right here is like, holy freaking shit. He's like, I have been gifted 2 opportunities by God to where these guys don't know the term and is saying put a feather in your cap, and I just cannot get the freaking turn to actually answer this.
And here's the thing. The one guy, all right, he's guessing letters. That's bad enough. This woman is taking guesses. A feather in your cat.
No, a feather in your hat, and then a feather in your lap.
Well, maybe she's a lap dancer. I don't know.
And then he guesses D and G, but my God.
He should have yelled out saying, "What the hell? Can I?" Oh God, here she goes again.
Okay, Grumpy, I'll wait.
He probably should go, what do I got to do?
Jesus Christ, go ahead, Grumpy, make the statement.
He's probably thinking, what do I got to do to just roll anything?
Bankrupt the first time and then lose a turn. Yikes.
Here you can spin the wheel. You can try to solve the puzzle. What do you want to do? Go ahead and spin. If you don't know.
I'm gonna go ahead and spin.
Don't get buzzed out.
Well, hold on. That means if Thomas was spinning, he probably doesn't know the answer either. Sorry, I don't watch Wheel of Fortune for those Wheel of Fortune fans out there. I've got our in-laws watch Wheel of Fortune every single night, like habitual, like by habit. So I don't know. I did not know that. I guess he could have just answered without spinning. Well, Thomas, every single one of those guys not knowing it.
You don't let your ass get bankrupted. That's for certain.
Yeah, my gosh.
Well, what letter would you like?
A P?
Yes, there's a P.
Oh, okay. She's confused. Oh, okay. Snap.
I will solve.
Okay.
Another feather in your map.
Oh my God.
Your turn.
Map. Another feather in your map. Holy shit. It's not Thomas. Okay, he wasn't going to get it right either. He was guessing G and D.
Suit jacket's way too tight.
Both of their suit jackets are way too tight.
So what letter would you like? A C. There's a C up there anywhere. There you go. You want to solve this?
I'll solve. Another feather in your cap.
Yeah, there you go.
My gosh. My good gracious. Oh,
God.
that was almost hard to watch. That was hard to watch.
I feel, I mean, how stupid are the younger people in this country?
They just don't know sayings. They don't know phrases.
That's how you get on that show. That's how you get on the show.
I thought you get on it for having a bubbly personality.
Really? Did Thomas look like he had bubbling personality? Did Mr. Suit Too Tight look like he had a bubbling personality?
Laura looked like she had a bubbly
Did the
personality.
dunce in the middle look like she's just stupid?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Terrible.
That's a good one. Yeah, we did get
Nightmarish.
to know that for certain. Thanks, Alexander, for sending that in.
Do we have any
Listen,
fan fights? What about
And
fan
no,
fights?
no fan fights, Grumpy. We're an hour and 20 minutes in, Grumpy. We covered a lot today.
I love fan
A lot of good sports, Grump. We covered a lot of them. Grumpy, let me ask you though, what do you want to say before we wrap things up today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Thanks everybody for tuning in and listening. Thank you, Grumpy Old Man. We'll be with you guys this upcoming Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, have a great afternoon, a great evening, and a great morning. We'll see you Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.